Hello, guys. Welcome back to Easy Talk English Podcast. If you're new here, you're in the right place. Because on this channel, you don't just improve your English, you also learn powerful ideas from the world's best books that can help you build a better life. So today, you are learning two valuable skills at the same time. First, you'll discover one of the most fascinating books about the human mind. And second, you'll naturally improve your English listening, vocabulary, and speaking by listening to slow, clear, and easy English. So relax. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word the first time. Just keep listening. Every time you come back to this episode, your English will become a little stronger. So, take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's begin our journey into one of the most surprising books you'll ever read. Chapter 1. Your brain doesn't just see reality, it creates it. Most people believe something very simple. They think, first, something happens. Then, the brain reacts. It sounds logical. But according to the expectation effect, our brain often works in the opposite direction. Instead of simply reacting to reality, your brain is constantly trying to predict reality before it happens. Let's make this simple. Imagine you're walking through your house late at night. The lights are off. Suddenly, you notice something dark standing in the corner. For 1 second, your heart starts beating faster. Your body freezes. You think, someone is there. But when you turn on the light, you realize it's only a chair with a jacket on it. What happened? The chair never changed. The room never changed. Only your expectation changed. And the moment your expectation changed, your heartbeat slowed down. Your muscles relaxed. Your fear disappeared. The reality stayed exactly the same. But your brain created two completely different experiences. This is one of the central ideas of this book. Your brain isn't like a camera that simply records the world. Instead, it's more like a movie director. It constantly asks, what do I think is going to happen next? Then it prepares your body for that prediction. Scientists call this prediction. Your brain is always making thousands of tiny predictions every second. These predictions help you walk, catch a ball, understand language, recognize faces, and even decide whether a situation feels dangerous or safe. Without prediction, life would be much slower. But prediction also has a hidden side. Sometimes your expectations become so powerful that they start changing the way you experience reality itself. Think about the first day at a new job. One person expects failure. They become nervous, they avoid speaking, they make mistakes. Another person expects that they will learn quickly. They smile. They ask questions, they stay relaxed. After a few weeks, the second person often performs much better. Was it because they were naturally smarter? Not necessarily. Sometimes their expectations changed their behavior, and their behavior changed their results. That is the expectation effect. It quietly influences your decisions long before you notice it. And here's something even more interesting. This doesn't only happen at work. It happens when you're learning English, when you're exercising, when you're meeting new people, even when you're trying something completely new for the first time. If you keep telling yourself, my English is terrible, your brain begins searching for evidence that supports that belief. But if you expect improvement, your brain starts noticing every small success. Little by little, your confidence grows. Part 2. The hidden power of expectations. Why what you believe can change what you experience. If expectations can change the way we see the world, can they also change what happens inside our body? The answer may surprise you. According to the expectation effect, the answer is yes. Every day, your brain receives millions of pieces of information. But here's the problem. Your brain cannot process everything, so it has to choose. It asks one simple question. What should I pay attention to? And the answer often depends on what you expect to happen. Let's imagine a simple situation. You buy a brand new smartphone. Before buying it, you hardly notice that model anywhere. But the day after you buy it, suddenly it seems like everyone has the same phone. Did thousands of people buy that phone overnight? Of course not. Your expectation changed. Your brain simply started paying attention to something it used to ignore. The same thing happens in everyday life. If you expect people to dislike you, you may notice every serious face, every short reply, every small mistake. But you'll probably ignore the smiles, the compliments, and the friendly conversations. In other words, your expectation becomes a filter, and that filter shapes your experience. Now, let's look at something even more fascinating. Scientists have studied something called the placebo effect. The word placebo means a treatment that has no active medicine, but is given as if it were real. In many studies, people were given a sugar pill. They believed it was real medicine. And surprisingly, many of them actually felt better. Some reported less pain. Some felt more energetic. Others recovered faster than expected. The pill itself wasn't causing these changes. Their expectations were helping their brain activate natural responses inside the body. Part 3. Rethinking stress. The truth about stress that most people never learn. Now, let's talk about something almost everyone experiences. Stress. Most of us have heard the same message our entire lives. Stress is bad. Stress will make you sick. Stress will destroy your health. So naturally, we try to avoid it whenever possible. But David Robson asks a very surprising question. What if the biggest problem isn't stress itself? What if it's what we expect stress to do to us? Let's make this simple. Imagine two university students. Tomorrow is their biggest exam. Both have studied the same amount. Both are equally prepared. Both feel their hearts beating faster. Their hands become slightly sweaty. Their breathing changes. Physically, they're experiencing almost the same thing. But mentally, they're telling themselves two very different stories. The first student thinks, "Oh no, I'm so stressed. This means I'm going to fail. I can't think clearly." As these thoughts grow, their anxiety becomes stronger. They struggle to concentrate. Simple questions suddenly feel difficult. Now let's look at the second student. She notices the same fast heartbeat. But instead of saying, "I'm falling apart," she tells herself, "My body is preparing me. This energy can help me stay alert. I can use this feeling to perform better." Notice something important. Neither student removed stress. Both experienced it. The difference was the meaning they gave to that feeling. And according to research discussed in the expectation effect, the way we interpret stress can influence how our body and mind respond to it. Let's learn a new word. Interpret. To interpret means to decide what something means. For example, if someone doesn't reply to your message, you can interpret it in different ways. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they forgot. Or maybe they're ignoring you. The event is the same, only your interpretation changes. Stress works in a similar way. Your brain is always asking, is this danger? Or is this a challenge I can handle? Your answer changes your experience. Now imagine you're about to give your first presentation in English. Your heart beats faster, your mouth feels dry, you become nervous. Many English learners immediately think, "I'm terrible at speaking. Everyone will laugh at me. I'm not ready." But let's change the expectation. Instead, you say, "This nervous feeling means I care. My brain is becoming more alert. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to communicate." Suddenly, the same physical feeling becomes much easier to manage. Part 4. The expectations of other people. How someone else's belief can change your future. Now, let me ask you another question. Have you ever met someone who believed in you even before you believed in yourself? Maybe it was a teacher, a parent, a coach, or a close friend. Sometimes just one person's confidence can completely change the direction of our lives. Why does this happen? According to the expectation effect, other people's expectations can quietly influence our behavior, our confidence, and even our performance. Let's make this simple. Imagine two teachers. Both teach students with the same abilities. The first teacher secretly believes these students probably won't do very well. Without realizing it, the teacher gives shorter explanations, asks fewer challenging questions, offers less encouragement. The students notice these small signals. They become less confident. They participate less. And over time, their performance often gets worse. Now imagine the second teacher. She believes every student can improve with practice. So she smiles more, she gives helpful feedback, she patiently explains difficult ideas, she celebrates small progress. The students begin believing in themselves. They work harder, they ask more questions, and slowly, their results improve. What changed? The students were almost the same. The lessons were almost the same, but the expectations were different. Those expectations changed behavior, and behavior changed results. Scientists sometimes call this the Pygmalion effect. Don't worry about the difficult name. Let's make it simple. The Pygmalion effect means that when people expect more from you, you often begin performing better. Not because of magic, but because expectations influence actions, and actions influence results. Now let's see a real-life example. Imagine a young football player. His coach constantly says, "You have potential. Keep practicing. I know you can do this." After every mistake, the coach doesn't criticize him. Instead, he teaches him. Little by little, the player becomes more confident. He trains harder. He starts believing, maybe I really can become better. Now imagine another player. Every mistake is followed by criticism. You'll never be good enough. You're always making mistakes. Eventually, that player begins expecting failure. He becomes afraid of trying. He avoids taking risks. His performance drops. Again, the expectation comes first. Then the behavior follows. This idea is incredibly important for parents, teachers, leaders, and even friends. The expectations you communicate every day can either help someone grow or slowly hold them back. Part 5. Small expectations, big results. How tiny beliefs become life-changing habits. Now, let's discover one of the most practical lessons from the expectation effect. Many people believe that success comes from one big decision, one lucky opportunity, or one perfect moment. But this book teaches something very different. Your future is usually built by small expectations, repeated every single day. Let's make this simple. Imagine you want to become healthier. There are two people. The first person says, "I'll start exercising next Monday." Then Monday comes. They're tired, so they wait until next week. Next week becomes next month, and nothing changes. Now, look at the second person. She tells herself, "I don't need to exercise for 2 hours. I'll just walk for 10 minutes today." 10 minutes doesn't seem like much, but because she expects that small goal is possible, she actually does it. The next day, she walks again. Then again. Weeks pass. Months pass. Without realizing it, a healthy habit has become part of her life. The difference wasn't motivation. It wasn't talent. It was expectation. One person expected that change had to be big. The other expected that small progress was enough. And that small expectation created consistent action.
Now let's learn a useful English word. Consistent. Consistent means doing something regularly, again and again, without giving up. For example, if you practice English for 15 minutes every day, you are being consistent. Consistency is often more powerful than intensity. Let's imagine another situation. Two people decide to read books. The first person says, "I'll read 100 pages every day." It sounds impressive, but after 3 days, they stop. The goal was simply too difficult. The second person says, "I'll read 5 pages every night before I sleep." 5 pages feels easy, so they continue. After 1 year, they finished many books, not because they were more motivated, but because their expectation was realistic. David Robson reminds us that our expectations influence the goals we choose, and the goals we choose influence the habits we build. Now, let's connect this to English learning. Many learners expect perfection. They say, "I'll start speaking English when I know every grammar rule. I'll speak after I memorize 5,000 words." But that day never comes. Instead, imagine expecting progress instead of perfection. Today, you learn 5 new words. Tomorrow, you listen to 10 minutes of English. The next day, you speak for 1 minute. These actions seem very small, but together, they become something powerful. Imagine saving $1 every day. After 1 day, it doesn't seem important. After 1 year, you've saved hundreds of dollars. Habits work exactly the same way. Every small action is like making a tiny deposit into your future. Final part. All right, my friends. Before we finish today's episode, let's take a quiet moment to remember everything we've learned together. Because this book isn't just about positive thinking. It's about understanding one of the most powerful forces that shapes our daily lives, our expectations. Let's go back to the beginning. Lesson 1. Your brain doesn't simply observe reality. It constantly predicts reality. Before something happens, your brain is already preparing your body and your mind for what it expects. That is why expectations can influence how you think, how you feel, and how you react. So remember, your mind is not only watching the world, sometimes it is helping to create the world you experience. Lesson 2. Your expectations become mental filters. If you expect failure, your brain starts looking for mistakes. If you expect growth, your brain starts noticing opportunities. The world may stay the same, but your attention changes. And where your attention goes, your energy follows. So ask yourself every day, what am I choosing to notice? Lesson 3. Stress is not always your enemy. Sometimes stress is simply your body's way of preparing you for an important challenge. Instead of saying, "I'm falling apart," try saying, "I'm getting ready." That small change in expectation can completely change your performance. Remember, the feeling may stay the same, but the meaning you give to that feeling changes everything. Lesson 4. The expectations of other people matter. Teachers, parents, friends, leaders, their words can become the voice inside your own mind. So choose carefully whose opinions you believe. And even more importantly, be the kind of person who helps others believe in themselves. Sometimes, one sentence of encouragement can change someone's entire future. Lesson 5. Small expectations create small actions. Small actions become daily habits. Daily habits become your future. Never underestimate one page, one conversation, one workout, one English lesson, or one brave decision. Great success rarely comes from one giant moment. It usually comes from hundreds of tiny moments, repeated consistently. Now, let me ask you one final question. Imagine meeting yourself exactly 1 year from today. What kind of person do you want to become? More confident? Healthier? Calmer? More successful? Speaking English fluently? Whatever your answer is, remember this. That future version of yourself will not be created by one lucky day. It will be created by the expectations you choose, the habits you build. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.